record on this computer. And share screen meeting notes. Silence my phone. So that'll be annoying. All right, hi everyone. Welcome to the Cluster API meeting on November 22nd. This is part of sig-cluster-lifecycle, part of CNCF. As such, we follow the CNCF code of conduct, which can basically be summarized as be nice to each other, be respectful. If you have something to say, please raise your hand and we will call to people in order. If you have not joined us before, welcome. We like to give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves if you would like. So I'll pause for a moment, give you an opportunity to introduce yourself if you would like to say who you are.
Hey, so this is Carlos. I work for SUSE and I work very closely with Furkat, Richard, Anil, and Alex. And yeah, this is my first time joining, so very happy to be here.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Looks like Andrea, you have your hand up.
Yes, hello everybody. I hope you can hear me well, because I'm going to have a little demo later. I'm also from SUSE, and I'm since a few months in touch with Capi, implementing an infrastructure provider, and I'm loving everything about it. So I will be happy to demo what me and my team have been working on.
Excellent, welcome. Do we have anyone else?
Yep. Hi, I'm Sujay, and I'm not joining for the first time, but I wasn't introduced before. So I'm basically exploring different SIGs and I find this SIG very interesting, and I'm looking forward to contribute here in this space. And recently, my first PR in this in Cluster API got merged. Yeah.
Great. Glad to have the introduction. Welcome. Lots of introductions today. Anyone else want to introduce themselves? All right. Well, in that case, we'll get into it with the open proposal readouts. Let's see, do we have any? Cluster API condition status update. Let's see here, that was listed. Let's see who had that. That's Fabrizio. You have that one. So do you want to go ahead and?
I'm not sure that those are really open proposal. Those are open documents. I will fix up so we don't have open proposal. You see, we have two paragraphs with open proposal. The one that we look, and so the second one is, a working document. I will rename it. Sorry for the confusion.
Yeah, no problem. In that case, do we have anything to bring up from the either feature groups, the in-place upgrades, or the Carpenter integration? Right. Let's see here. Oh, someone has their hand up. What is your name there? Small font. Guillermo, I hope I got your name right or close.
Yeah, very close, very close. So for the in-place upgrades feature group, we're making decent progress. We had lazy consensus today closed for use cases, so that's good. That's going to allow us to scope the project. and we are already talking about possible, designs or ideas to solve this problem. We already have like 2 contenders that we're going to be comparing in the next few weeks. So yeah, very interesting. If anyone wants to know more, please reach out or just go look to the meeting notes, and we have all the docs linked there and all the conversation that we had. And if anyone is interested in joining, please, we'll be again there next week on Wednesday. Thank you.
Jack, you have your hand up?
Yes. Thanks, Mike. I noticed that the other Mike, probably one of many Mikes, is not here today, who's leading the Carpenter integration feature group. And so I just wanted to shout out a reminder that those happen weekly, I believe, maybe bi-weekly. Actually, now that I'm saying out loud, I'm drilling down into the link that's in the agenda item there. They happen after this meeting. So I'm on the West Coast USA, which means that they happen at 11 a.m. If you're in London right now, they happen at 7 p.m. And then I will spare everybody all the other time zones in between. But it's happening. You can see the notes that are being accumulated over those meetings. So definitely, folks, hit up Mike and go to those if you have an interest in Carpenter and Cappy.
All right, great. So let's go into the agenda here. I guess the first question I would have is for the demo here, Andrea. How long are you going to need for the demo?
It's 10 minutes.
Okay,
Good.
great.
I'll try to
So
be
this is my first time with this. How do I make it so that you can do your demo? Let's see. I assume I stopped sharing. Oh, Cecile, go ahead.
Yeah, so if you're a host right now, you can click on participants and then make Andrea a co-host by clicking on their name and doing more, make co-host.
Okay, great. Whoops, that just switched over to you. More make co-host. Here we go.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. Should be a co-host and able to share now.
Yes, I'm trying to find how can I share my screen. Interesting.
You can share only a window. This is a limitation of the CMCF Zoom.
Okay, I can work with that. Thank you. I think then this should be the first window. So today I'm going to present the Elemental Cappy infrastructure provider. This, as the name suggests, a Cappy infrastructure provider, which is targeted for physical machines. So Elemental is a software stack, actually, that already has an operator that you can try and install if you want. It works currently on top of Rancher, and pretty much this is a known Cappy implementation, but it brings all the features that we would like to port to this new provider. So the let's say end user experience and the features will be very close, if not equal. That said, this infrastructure provider works with any host machine. You can install an agent. The agent will speak to an HTTP API that is exposed by the provider itself. And through this API, we are going to inventorize all the hosts, enable registration of new hosts, and propagate the bootstrap instructions. So a little bit more close, let's say a host is pretty much consists of 2 main components. One is the agent that does all of the inventory and bootstrapping work, and the other is the Elemental Toolkit. The Elemental Toolkit is a very powerful tool that allows you to install and manage and build bootable image from standard container images. So this link, however, is not strict. You can go ahead and replace the Elemental Toolkit with your own custom logic if you want. We do support that currently. I'm going to touch briefly upon it. And now for the demo part, sorry, I need to now share the different window. If I can find the Zoom window back. Sorry for that.
I believe you have to click stop sharing at the top of the screen is usually what I have to do.
I only see the small window. I lost the main. Interesting.
Maybe if you exit from
Okay,
full
sorry.
screen.
I found the stop share. Maybe I can do a new share. Oh, yes, I can. Okay, first time, sorry. So now you can see my terminal. In here, I do have, so this is just a management cluster deployed with kind. Here I do have the core copy controller, and I also installed the K3S provider. And I'm going to, and of course the elemental infrastructure provider, and I'm going to use it to deploy a single node K3S cluster. So the first step in here would be for me to create a registration resource. Now, the elemental registration literally contains the key for the agent to register a new host, and also contains some host configuration settings. So for example, we do support a cloud init config that I'm using to set some dummy credentials for the demo. I do have an agent configuration as well. I am telling the agent to use a random host name to prefix it with a customized prefix. And I'm also telling to use the Elemental plugin. This is the part where I was saying it is customizable. You can go ahead and implement your own plugin. We do also have a dummy plugin that, as the name suggests, does not do that much. But so in this case, I'm going to demo the integration with the Elemental Toolkit and all its benefits. I'm going to expose the API in a clear HTTP endpoint. Don't do this on production. And I'm also going to tell the agent to please reboot the host after the installation, so that we can have a fully unattended workflow here. Also, we do have the install and the reset configurations. So those are schemaless. So you can put any information you want in here, and it will be propagated to your plugin implementation. In this case, we are just telling the Elemental Toolkit to install the OS on this device, and whenever resetting the machine, to reset a couple of partitions that we want to format. So I did apply this before the demo. And now we can get this registration back. And we should see that a couple of information, couple of fields were added. So One is the token. As I said, the registration holds the key for the agent to register a new host, and that is just by default JSON Web Token without expiration, so that only trusted parties can contact the API and register a new host. And we also have the URI to contact the API, and in this specific case, this is the registration URI. So the agent knows where the API is and how to contact it. So what I can do now is to create an agent config from this registration resource. So we do have a little conveniences script. I put the namespace name and the registration name. And as you can see, it is just a subset of the resource there. But now I can use this YAML configuration file to configure my agent. So then my host will have the agent running with this configuration file. And so all of this is actually available as a quick start. So all that I'm doing, you will also be able to build your own image. It takes a few minutes, so I already built it. And I'm going to share now the virtual machine. So this is all powered by the Elemental toolkit. You only need Docker as dependency. In the future, as the current operator does, we would like to build, so to have the provider actually build those images and serve them under a downloadable URL. But for now, you do have to build yourself. This image is also based on OpenSUSE Leap, but the Elemental toolkit supports pretty much any systemd enabled distribution. So what we see here is that the machine booted from the live media, and now it is actually installing. And on the management side, if I find my cursor and I share my terminal, we should see that a new Elemental host was registered. Now the installation looks successful because it was labeled as installed. It was registered also with a public key. So the agent created its own private key, and now it is also sending JSON Web Tokens to authenticate each request. And the controller is going to use the public key to verify the host identity, so no impersonation. And that's it. So now the host is available and ready to be bootstrapped. If I SSH into it, so it did pick the random name with the prefix. And what the agent is doing now every 10 seconds by default, it is patching the host with information. Currently, it is an empty patch. We don't propagate anything back, but potentially we could send IP address and hardware labels and other information. And then it is also retrieving information back. So now, if I go back to my management cluster, I can use the K3s single node template that we provide, generate a new manifest. This is a simple one node cluster. I'm just going to apply it blindly. And this is, by the way, the IP address of the host machine that we were looking at. So as you would expect now, the copy machine is created. It is provisioning, and now on the host side, we can see that something is happening, and it is bootstrapping K3S. Actually, it already started. It was pretty quick. And there we have the K3S cluster running. If I can go back here, we should see that the copy machine was also associated to this elemental host. And so this is the provisioning part. This is probably what you expected. Now, the final part that I would like to demo, I hope I'm still on time, is the reset of this machine. Let's say I want to be done with it, to repurpose this machine, make it do something else, join another cluster, and so on. There are several ways. I can delete the elemental host directly, but I can also delete the entire cluster. So what is going to happen, as you would expect, the copy machine is also deleted. So everything is deleted in cascade. And now the agent on the machine received the reset trigger. And so reboot was scheduled. And I should probably share the other screen now. If I can find it back, sorry for that. Oh, there it is. So now this machine should reboot in a recovery mode. The recovery partition is something that the Elemental Toolkit creates. And then from the recovery partition, it will trigger the reset. The Elemental host should be deleted then after the reset is successful. And then the agent will register and install again, reboot into the active partition, and then be ready to be bootstrapped again. Now it is trying to gracefully terminate, so it may take a minute. And actually, I can also show on the management side, we can also visualize this. Because now the host has more labels than before. So we know that it was bootstrapped, it was associated to a machine, and now it was marked for reset. So now we are actually waiting for the reset label to be set. Then this resource will be deleted and a new registration will happen. If I can reshare that screen again. And I'm not supposed to do this, but we don't have much time. So the agent, well, actually the plugin selected the next group label as recovery. So now, as I said, it will boot in recovery mode to undergo reset and re-registration and reinstall. And again, if we look at the management side, yeah, so we see that the previous host was deleted, new one is created. Which is installed. There's a new identity. and we are back from where we started. So this is all that I wanted to share. Sorry if I took a bit too much. I have a bunch of contacts that that you can have a look at. You can also copy those in the chat. And that's it. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, be happy to reply to any.
See, I'm not. I think Jack, you had your hand up first.
Just a real quick question. Great demo, Andrea. Do you have any? Are there any plans to donate this to CNCF to live under the Cluster API GitHub org?
I would personally love to, but I cannot say. So we just started with this.
Cool. Totally understood. Thanks for sharing.
Fabrizio?
Yeah, thank you for the demo. Just for my confirmation. So basically what happened is that when you create a machine, this machine becomes part of a pool, and then this pool on a pool of hosts, and then this host get used by a machine when it is required. That's the entire workflow. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Also, what I didn't demo is that you can also propagate, let's say, labels to each host through the registration. So then every host that will register to a certain registration will get some labels, and from there you can use those labels in your elemental machine template as selectors. So you can say, yeah, I only want these machines to form, a certain cluster and so on. And also consider that everything is scoped by namespace.
Cool. Very, very, very interesting. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, great. So we get back to the meeting notes here. All right, next on the list is we have a PSA about moving over CAPI's 1.4 release test jobs. Nawaz, you want to go ahead and tell us about that?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Hey, everyone. This is just a PSA that we are moving over release 1.4 test jobs onto EKS community clusters, and we'll also be dropping the release 1.3 test jobs which were running on community EKS community clusters. The idea is that we'll move over the release 1.4 test jobs, observe the performance, and move over the next or the other releases over to EKS community cluster, depending on the performance of the release 1.4 jobs. Also a shout out to Adil and Anurag for bringing up and driving these efforts. Thank you.
Good stuff. Let's see who we got here next. Jack, CAPI managed Kubernetes. What's next?
Thank you. So I just wanted to remind folks that this proposal landed recently, and nothing has actually changed. So hardworking folks like us actually need to do the work of implementing what's described in here. And the TLDR at this point right now is that there is no, as far as I can tell, there's no committed owner to actually do the work. There's been some chatter between myself and Fabrizio and Vince and Stefan, sort of offline about who might do this. So I just wanted to let folks know that this work hasn't been done, which is a reminder. And I'm going to drive a I'll plan forward to get it done. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be the one doing the work, but I'll keep folks up to date who what set of folks are actually going to do this work. If anyone is interested in doing this work or following along, feel free to reach out to me or any of the people I mentioned earlier.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments on that? All right, looks like you have the next topic as well, Jack.
Yeah, fun. So there's been a lot of really interesting conversation in this issue that I filed. This is my fault for signing up in the moment to tackle this during last week's meeting. So kind of an own goal for me in terms of adding more work to my plate, but it's all good. So the original thing we talked about last week with FERCOT was to potentially create a subject matter role and a new test maintainer role. So I would invite folks who are interested in this to especially if you're on the release team, read through this. There's some ideas going back and forth. Not everyone has the same idea about how to do this, but where we're at right now is an idea that we would essentially create a new test maintainer role separate from the release team, separate from the project maintainers. So what you will see in the owner's files, to triage and own the resolution of test failures. So if you're on that list and it's your time in the rotation and you can't test it, then you would escalate to maintainers. But the alternate idea that I was sort of pushing, which is probably more of like a North Star ideal version, where you have a larger set of code maintainers that are sprinkled throughout the code base in various code specific owners files. I think everybody probably thinks that's great, but it's not very practical to suddenly get 6 to 8 new folks owning this, pretty intense code all throughout the code base in various areas. And so for the time being, we probably are more or less going to have to accept that we've got the small set of maintainers overall in the project, and so we can probably maybe deprioritize the subject matter expert idea and try in the long term to get more folks onboarded into the project and then distributed throughout the code base. And at that point, we can revisit that being the sort of default gesture for maintaining test rules. Are there any questions to my attempted summary of this? Fabrizio, does that sound like what we're discussing in the issue as a...
Yes, it is a discussion. I think that there are also alternative options. So because yeah, this is more or less my thinking. I don't know if someone commented or below it, but I think that introducing a maintainer role is kind of challenging for the folks. People could be intimidated, and also the fact that this role seems like forever. A commitment forever could be intimidating. So I've documented as another option is to create a sort an additional team. I named this CI reliability team, responsible of getting CI green. And the idea is that this team stays in rotation for a period of time. My suggestion is to basically link this to release team rotation time. So, and the catch here is that, honestly, we're talking about triaging issue is no more, no less that everyone uses copy do. And this is when they have a problem in production. So participating to this team could be interesting for everyone, also for not only for developers, maintainers, people contributing, but also for end users, because this will make you better in running copy in your environment. And so, yeah, let me say, it is an ongoing discussion, super interesting, different option being considered. If you are interested, please take a look.
Thanks for the time. Mike,
You'll
back to you.
put this little bit here too as well about the combining bug triage and CI roles. So just bring that up on screen here for the recording. Great. All right, these are from earlier, and looks like forgot you're up next with CAPI 1.6 RC0.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's a PSA. So we yesterday released CAPI 1.6.0 RC0. There were some problems with image build, but that seems to be fixed now. We are closely watching the release 1.5 and release 1.4 images build. So basically the revert PR is backported to those release branches. If you want to know more about the issue, I put the link, but yeah, that's all. Thanks for the team joining this.
Great stuff. I know I at least personally love seeing the velocity that stuff comes out. It's really cool. All right, so that is the list of agenda items. Does anyone have anything else that they wanted to bring up that wasn't on the set agenda that was listed here? If so, raise your hand and we'll talk about it. All right, any provider updates or feature group updates? And if not, is that the meeting or am I missing a step here on the agenda?
No, I think the only thing missing is like saying, oh, and now everyone gets 20 minutes back.
I hate saying you get the time back. So
I think that it's okay to skip it.
yeah, so because that makes me feel like I'm stealing it for the time from before. That's never any fun.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, it was good seeing everyone, and we'll see you all next week.